The greatest way of ensuring that you're going to see consistent results in your training and your conditioning is through taking a strategic approach to recovery. So, recovery practices are 100% necessary to implement following your conditioning session, so at the close of your training session. And you should also program a recovery workout the day following your heavy conditioning sessions. So for example, I'll have 1 or 2 days, sometimes 1 day, but sometimes 2 days in a row, where I'm practicing higher intensity methods for conditioning. But then on the 3rd day, the day following the high intensity session, I program a recovery workout. So a recovery workout is not doing nothing. Doing nothing is a rest day, and that could actually allow more space for fatigue to set in through stillness and stagnancy than the light movement and engagement that is implemented through a recovery workout. So a recovery workout is about 30 to 45 minutes. There's going to be some activation, there's going to be some dynamic warm-ups, and then some steady state cardio, which we refer to as cardiac output in the conditioning program that I'm a part of, which you can learn more about on 8weeksout.com. We refer to this as cardiac output, and that is about, well, it's low cardiac output on recovery days, so I call it low cardiaco, as in maybe 100 to 135 beats per minute, and then cardiac output for conditioning is a little bit higher in your heart rate range. But let's keep that heart rate range at about 100 to 135 through some gentle steady state cardio, especially if you're just getting into conditioning or if you're starting a new conditioning program. So what this does is it stimulates blood flow, obviously, to the whole body through a consistent heart rate range. So the pump volume actually becomes increased over time when you start programming cardiac output work into your workouts. So aerobics are not overrated. It is 100% necessary regardless of the type of sport or form of training that you're getting into, because it is so beneficial to recovery. Aerobic work has an anti-inflammatory effect if applied strategically. So on those recovery days, those 30 to 45 minute workouts, we're not overdoing it. We're starting off with something just as simple as maybe step back lunges, you know, and then we go into maybe something like lunge pulses, do 8 on one side, 8 on the other, some light hand weight flow. It's just keeping your heart at a consistent rate. So Pilates as well is a wonderful recovery practice because it's engaging but not too over fatiguing. It's not too high intensity. And I like to argue the more high intensity stuff you get into, the more of the soft style stuff you should be getting into as well for recovery and to program in your recovery day. So another example is you could begin your training session with 10 to about 15 minutes of brisk walk on the treadmill or uphill, like an incline treadmill, at about 3 to 3.5 miles an hour. And you'll find that your heart rate is going to be right at about that 120 range. So your heart is going to be exercised itself. So when your heart is being exercised, it's getting used to repairing the body. In the middle of the recovery workout, after that steady state cardio, you can practice what some people would refer to as a shadow session. So let's say you did heavy deadlifts the day before, you would do a lighter form of deadlifts the day after. So again, it might seem to contradict. If you think that you're going to be fatigued and sore, why would you do more? It's the movement that stimulates those areas to keep repairing. Again, not over fatiguing ourselves. We're staying in the, like, let's say in the term of rating of perceived exertion. So on a 1 to 10, you're really at about a 4 or a 5. So I wouldn't advise going above 50 or 60% of your max, or 50 to 60% of what you would use in your heavy training sessions if you're doing the weights, and do a few reps and just do like 2 or 3 sets to just send the blood flow back to those areas of the body. So you can also even implement something as simple as plank exercises, something that engages the body. You can use air squats, a simple strength endurance workout. Bent over rows is what I did yesterday for my recovery workout. And then after that strength drill, we go into some recovery breathing. You can use Qigong practice like I instruct here and as well on my Instagram at Thomas Aquarius. So you can be sure to follow me on there for some warriorship tips and some training and forms of recovery work you can use with Qigong. And by the way, press like and hit subscribe if you find any of this information helpful. So let's continue. Your recovery workout also has recovery breathing. You can use yoga practices as long as it's not too overstimulating. The problem some people have reported to me with yoga is it actually wears them out too much, because you might be going to the same practice. You might be overdoing vinyasa 2, or you might be overdoing yin yoga practice, which has you being in like a elongated position, like a deep forward fold for 30 seconds in a row, like 30 seconds or a minute. And then if you did multiple yin yoga lessons a week, you are exerting quite a toll on those areas of the body, so there's no real room for recovery from that. However, yin can also be used as a recovery form because of those deep breathing exercises you get into. So Zen breathing, yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, Pilates, these are all wonderful recovery practices. And I will be posting on Recovery Monday some more breathing drills that you can get into that are going to stimulate that rest and repair response. You can engage in some foam rolling, and you should at the end of your recovery workout, as long as you aren't applying too much pressure, because too much pressure, too much pain, so to speak, does stimulate a sympathetic nervous response. So the sympathetic nervous system is what some refer to as the fight or flight response. We want to stay away from that on our recovery day. Our recovery day is light activity, it's relaxing movements, it's gentle fluid movements, and then ending with deep breathing and meditation to close it, to close your training session for that recovery workout. Again, it's not doing nothing, and you'll find in that 45 minutes of time, you may have even, burned a few calories. And I use the Morpheus app, and this is my Morpheus band here. And every day I'm logging and checking my recovery, and then every training session I log in here as well. And at the end of your session, Morpheus tracks whether you lost or gained recovery points. So on a recovery workout, you should, you guessed it, gain some recovery points. I hope this is helpful, and I'd like to see what you think about what type of drills you use for recovery, whether it's at the end of your conditioning session or on your recovery day. So I'm Thomas Aquarius. Once again, feel free to add me on Instagram at Thomas Aquarius. Hit like, click subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions as well about when and how to implement recovery into your program.